All right, so
Okay.
let's repeat it for recording's sake. So go ahead.
Okay. So I just asked Dhammarato a question about sitting still and the hindrance of restlessness. I mentioned how I can more easily get into a good state when I'm walking or moving in some kind of way. And Dhammarato recommended. Do you want me to recap it?
No, no, I'll do that.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. That basically what you had mentioned, Scott, was that the um, that you were following someone's plan of you've got to sit still. And when you have to sit still, that's when the restlessness comes back. And so, what I would recommend is to start off walking because you can do it there. And as you start off walking and whistle a happy tune and get yourself into a really, really good state, then that's the time to sit down. That in fact, that's something that we practice at Wat Suan Mook on a regular basis in the retreats is a combination of sitting, walking, and that you can probably start walking in a regular pace, but then begin to slow it down. As you slow the walking down, and that will actually kind of help the restlessness come back. But when you can deal with the restlessness in walking, then when you get it done and you are in a calm state, a happy state in walking, then sit down and sit with the thoughts, I could do this. Restlessness is not a problem. I can handle this. If restlessness comes back, I know exactly what to do with it. And if it does come back, then what do? We get up and we start walking again, as you're doing right now.
Right.
You see, you have actually been quite active in your life. You're quite a sportsman.
Right. I'm very active. Yeah.
Yes.
Kinesthetic.
And that restlessness then is built into that. But it need not be a worry. What actually becomes a problem is because you've been told to sit still for a long time.
Yeah. Talk about early childhood.
And that's become a rule for you. And it's what the Buddha talks about is the rules we make for ourselves is often the problem.
Yeah, the sitting still rule. That goes way back. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, so
Yeah.
the right way to handle it then is that if you are sitting and restlessness comes up, then happily stand up, say, aha, I see you, restlessness. Let's take you for a walk. The dog's got to go out for a walk right now. And so you take your restless dog for a walk. And while you're
Oh
doing
yeah.
that,
That reminds me of the dog analogy. The Nibbana dog that walks
uh-huh,
around. Yeah, that you use sometimes.
yes, so that's the
Or
way of handling it is just take the dog for a walk happily, not worrying about that there's a problem with restlessness. The problem with restlessness is you've got a rule thou shalt not restless. You've got to sit still for a long time. And that actually interferes with a lot of people, especially people who are sports minded.
right.
So sit for a while, sit for 10 or 15 minutes or ever how long, but when that restlessness comes back up, stand up. In fact, you might even want to do it in this order stand up and see if the restlessness goes away. If it doesn't, take a few steps and then a few more and keep walking until the restlessness goes away completely and then sit back down. In other words, you're training in a new way now. You're training in a way that the restlessness is not there when you sit down, and it will come back up. Sure, it will. And when it does, take a hike. That should be fairly easy instructions for you to remember, is to alternate back and forth between walking, sitting, and standing. But mostly it's going to be walking and sitting and walking and sitting. And so go out. Go out and pay attention to how marvelous the paradise you're in is. And that doesn't mean you're reading billboards and looking at cars and things like that, but rather you're just, wow, how nice it feels to be out. So if you can go to a park or to the forest to do the walking, that's better.
That brings back a good memory. The first time I called you and you gave me the talking myself into it instruction, I had this favorite park that I would go to, and I remember so vividly that the first time I got into first jhana at that park, and every time I go to that park, I feel good. Like, it's so beautiful. Ah, what a nice day. There's some children laughing and playing, people
Mm-hmm.
out and about. Wow.
Well, while you're doing that then, and out enjoying that park and enjoying the paradise you're in, if you happen to walk past a park bench, just sit down and just stay still for a little while. And then if the restlessness comes, get back up and continue walking. Don't make the restlessness a problem. It's not a problem. It's easy. And so you can say, oh, it's so easy. There's no place to go and nothing to do. Ah, what a relief it is. I can sit, I can walk, I can stand. And when the restlessness comes, I can do something about it. I don't have to let it overcome me. I don't have to hate it. It's just, there it is. I see it. Let's take a walk.
Another
Go ahead.
unwholesome thought that comes up generally when I'm thinking about my life is that, oh, I should be making more money. People, oh, I don't have a career. I'm just doing my job that's not too hard.
So
And
who's hard on you? Who else besides you are giving you all of this grief? Is this just an old memory? Or is somebody hassling you about going and getting a job?
yeah, uh, rel people who are related to me. Yeah.
So, but you've got enough money, right?
Yeah. I always have the option. I have enough plenty of money to also get my plan for sustainable keep doing what I'm doing is if I get a van that I can live in, um, even with some amenities, I could sustain my current lifestyle without relying on anybody else also. But then my mom shames me. Oh, I don't want you living in a car. I don't want you like there's like a stigma, I guess, like that's like not okay to do. But the Buddha was a homeless guy. He just, right?
Yes. Okay. Well, I'm sure that you can come to some sort of compromise and agreement with your mom.
Yeah.
Now, one of the ways that you can do that is because she probably already knows that she's better off with you in that house.
Yeah.
That she's better off, and so are you.
Yeah.
This American dream to where a guy's got to go buy a house he can't afford, it's too big for him to take care of. He's going to have a wife and kids to take care of the house,
Yeah.
all of that kind of stuff. No, if your mom's already got the house, then you're helping her.
Yeah.
You can help clean, you can help her, giving her companionship and all kinds
Yeah.
of other stuff. So a lot of what your mom is saying is that she doesn't want to lose you.
Yeah.
So even if you do get a van, I tell you what, I know a really excellent parking place
Yeah.
in her driveway.
Yeah.
And that'll give you the freedom in both sides of it. So you can go off with your van and
Yeah.
also take care of her.
Yeah. That was pretty spot on with the situation, because yeah, she does benefit from the companionship and my whimsical nature reminder, hey, life's not serious. It's all good.
You can call it a whimsical nature if you want to, but I see that as actually quite beautiful. I like it when guys decide that, oh, that job and that house and all of that stuff that you're supposed to do from the training that we've had our whole lives is actually detrimental to everybody.
Yeah.
Look at the housing market. Why? Because the real estate people, they want to make a lot of money. They want to put you in a house you can't afford because they'll make more money that way. And having the idea of a tiny house or shared apartments, shared living, is what's been going on in Asia for many, many centuries. Family living, communal living. So you living with your mom is actually quite beneficial to her. It's just the real estate people that are not making money off of you.
Yeah.
And so putting a shed in the backyard, making a gazebo, go find, make a little place for you to go hang out, but it's got no walls because you're in Southern California. You don't have to worry about the weather.
Yeah. Yeah.
By the way, the gazebo of the West it's got a word in Thailand. Actually, it's a Pali word. It's called a sala, and a sala is a building that's got very little for a floor, very little or nothing for a wall, and it's got a roof to keep the rain and the sun out.
Yeah, a sala on wheels would be perfect, because I can go yeah, because I can go into very remote places, if I have a sala on wheel. Very I can obviously I can come back, park it at the house, but I can get, like you've recommended, like the Buddha recommended, very isolated places where there's no city, no people, and
No jobs
when,
to do.
yeah, and it's
No,
just not
no
yeah,
office buildings.
yeah. It's just not affordable to get a hotel, because I go to these remote places, but get a hotel and then hike out. But it's not affordable to keep getting a hotel. But yeah,
Right.
no,
Well, a good tent, a really good tent, would be the price of 1 or 2 nights in a hotel.
right. Yeah, you can a tent that you can carry on your back. Um,
Hmm. That's portable housing, is what you can pack up and carry with you. That's what there is actually there. the system in for the monks is that there is two robes. One robe is for wearing, and the other one is called a double robe, which means it is actually two robes that are stitched together, but it's got air pockets and whatever like that. And that is called a sangati. And that sangati can be used for a chair, it can be used for a headrest, and with a pole or a wire, it can be used as a tent. And so the monk, the outfit of a monk in the time of the Buddha was designed for camping gear. That was a 2,600-year-old camping gear. And so you can use modern camping gear with a backpack and a bedroll and a tent, and all of that can be put into a backpack. And then you don't have to go buy a car or a new van or whatever. What the transportation that you've got now will be good enough.
Oh, that's a good point. I have my car.
So load it down with camping gear. Park it in some small town and hike up into the wilderness. In fact, one of the places that's really good, if you can get up to it, there's two of them, both of which are a little bit far from you, but I do know that one is Wat Metta, which is where Achan Tenesero, and you can go camp out there.
I went there.
And the other one would be Wat Amaravati, which is up in Mendocino County.
When I go, like the Sierra Nevada mountain range, like that's where I snowboard. But when I just go there, it's so spectacular that jhana is just so easy to get into.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've had some of the most like just euphoric moments, almost like tears come out of your eyes, and I'm satisfied in that moment fully. Like I don't need anything else. Like I don't need.
That's great. You're very lucky. You designed your lifestyle well.
Yeah, thanks for saying that. I don't want to have kids. Yeah, I don't want to have to like take care, like be responsible for kids. I like being free.
Well, you're okay. You got it. Go hiking. Go camping. But this is exactly what the Buddha recommended. Go to the forest. Sit down on the foot of a tree. Take a tent so that the tent can be used in the shade and it can keep the rain off. I tell you what, some of the best music there is to be in a tent while it's raining.
The sound of rushing water. Yeah. A tent by a river, especially, like just that soothing sound of the water rushing. Yeah.
This is great.
This is great.
Yeah. So why don't we end the call now? I think you've gotten just what you needed.
Okay. Okay.
All
Well,
right.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah.
We'll see you soon.
Okay. See you next time.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.